Hey, I'm here with a list of demands. Follow the show wherever you listen. Subscribe, share, like, and comment on the show on YouTube. Follow any and all of my social media as well. All of the links are in the description. And finally, if you're a real fan, which most of you aren't, head on over to buymeacoffee.com, use the link in my description, and buy me a goddamn coffee. It supports the show, which is me. So you're supporting me. Now that you've successfully ignored that, go ahead and enjoy today's episode. Hello, everybody, and good morning. Thank you so much for tuning into the show today. It is almost the end of the month. How crazy is that? Just a couple days ago, you were cooking burgers. You were cooking burgers on the beach. You were setting up a tent. You were getting ready in your backyard to shoot off explosives. You were buying booze by the gallon, getting it ready, putting it on ice, sitting out by the sun, giving yourself melanoma. Giving yourself melanoma while you stand in front of a steaming hot piece of metal with fire inside of it that you put your dead animals on top of, and you smother them in cheese, and then you fucking scarf them down with all that ice cold booze, and then you go swimming, you go jump in the lake, and you shit and piss in the water, and then Uncle Tim, who's drunk, says, "Come on, kids, let's go." Let's take the tubes out. Come on. And you let him do it. Every year somebody gets injured. 2 years ago you lost a cousin. But you let him do it every year, you know, because it's his only thing. It's his only thing that he can look forward to doing. You don't want to take that from him because everything's already been taken away from him. Everything, his kids, his livelihood, his home. He lives with his mother, right? He lives with your aunt still, and it's just... You know, it's an unfortunate situation, and that's what it is. But it's this is what we were doing. We were going out, and we were getting plastered. We could wear less clothes. We could go to beach clubs and rooftop bars, right? And you can show your tummy or your shoulders or your legs or your fat ass. Yes, and you could eat and drink and scream outside, and it was beautiful. It was so nice. Just not even that long ago. Not even that long ago, you had an excuse to get plastered every day. You had an excuse to run amok every day and go to the beach every single day. You had an excuse for it. You had an excuse to have fun and spend money and go on vacations and go to concerts and do all this great stuff. Ha, ha, ha. And now it is almost the end of September. There are almost just 3 months left in this year. Oh, my goodness. What's going to happen? We all know what's going to happen. It's going to come at us quicker than ever. We're institutionalized in that aspect. From September to the end of the year, it's bananas, right? It's always bananas. It's always been bananas. It's been that way because since we were in school, when we were in school, we would always, September was like, yeah, we're back in school. We get to see our friends, and now our schedules are filled again. But at the same time, we have a lot of days off because the holidays are coming, and there's a lot of fun stuff that happens around that time when you're in school. They got Spirit Week and Homecoming and all this shit. So that's where they do all the fun shit and get it out of the way because they know the kids are already still riled up from the summer and the holidays and all that. So that happens when you get older too. You get older, you go all the way through school. Let's say you go all the way through college. You get out. That's the same format. Summertime is a time for everybody to fuck off, right? There's really only a few months of hard work when you really think about it. People like to complain, right? We work so hard. I'm one of them. We work so goddamn hard. But if you think about it, it's really just a few months. It's like January to Memorial Day. Once Memorial Day hits, everyone's chilling. Everyone's, it's a party. It's a party from Memorial Day to Labor Day. And then from September to the end of the year, there's some work, but it's not like hard, crazy work. Everyone knows that there's the burden of the holidays and whatever. Some people work double, triple overtime so that they can keep up with it. They can keep up with spending the money on that time. But it is what it is. Who gives a fuck? Time is relative anyway, right? Time is just, there's no such thing as time. There's only clocks, right? We've decided that 24 hours is a day, and that there's 365 days in a year, except sometimes there's 366 days. Every once in a while. It's rare, but it happens. So be on the lookout for that. When you're looking for nonsense, look at numbers. Numbers have controlled our lives. They have found a way to make numbers the sole thing in our lives, and time is one of the first ones that we learn about. You learn about that when you're a kid. You got to be on time. We got to be on time. Let's go. We got to get on time. Let's get on time. When you first learn about numbers, it's like, okay, this makes sense. This is practical. How do you describe how much of something do you have? How do you describe these things? And that's good. But then when we start adding age, right? Now you're this old. You've lived this many years. I get it. It's a good metric for humans, right? We do the same thing with trees. We chop them off. We count the rings in the middle. So it's a good, it makes sense for age. But time is a product, or age is a product of time, I should say. But time is like, if there were never any clocks, like when you're in Vegas or when you're in a casino, there's no clocks anywhere. You don't know what time it is, even when I'm at work. When it's busy and I don't really look at my phone, you don't know what fucking time it is. You don't know there's no concept of it. There's no concept of it. You wouldn't have any concept of time if you weren't changing over time. If there wasn't some way to measure this change that's happening to your body and your mind and all these things, this system that you have. So time is like the first way that they figured out how to control people. Now, I don't mean that there's a bunch of people sitting around in a room saying, we're going to create time. Time is going to... No. I'm not saying that. Time is obviously like an ancient fucking thought, if I had to assume, right? The sun comes up, the moon goes down, daytime, nighttime. It's like a fucking... It's been a thing. I'm not saying that there's like a group of suits sitting around each other conspiring. We're going to get these people to work because of time. And no. That's not what I'm saying. But it's one of the human-made, or the human, I guess it's made, right? It's one of the human-made constructs that we've kind of just lived. We live by it. We live by this abstract thought of time, and it just happens to be expressed in numbers. Not like, where did numbers come from, right? Nobody knows where numbers, that's like something that's always been there. There's no origin story of numbers. It's just like, how many things are there? This many. Cool. Like they needed to figure out a way to do it. Like, was there numbers before language? Probably, right? Probably with hand signs or whatever. Nonetheless, another way that they figured out to control us to control people with numbers is grades in school. They have you convinced for the first, when do you graduate college, undergrad? 22, 21 years of your life, that these numbers mean everything. They mean everything, and they do in some capacity. They do. They very much do. If your pathway that you're following is one of academia into, the workforce, like the traditional fucking route that everyone likes to do, or whatever the fuck. Sure, yeah, if you're trying to get into a highly specialized field, yes, those numbers control your life, but they convince people whose trajectory isn't that those numbers mean absolutely everything. Now, obviously, it's impossible to know where someone's trajectory is going. You can only guess, right? And that's where counselors come in, and they tell you, hey, you're an idiot, so good luck, right? That's more or less where counselors stand. If you're not showing some sort of immediate promise, they're like, we'll go on to somebody who's top 20 in the class, and we'll try and help them get into something that would help them and would benefit us by graduating this motherfucker, but also benefit them because they're already on the track. They bought into this system. They bought into this numbers system that, hey, these things mean everything. I'll live and die behind these fucking things. And they do a real good job of it when you're a little kid, because when you're a little kid, it's real scary. You bring home a failing grade, or you bring home a fucking, something that's a low grade on a test, and you got a family member that's like, what the fuck is this? Growing up, grades were everything. You got to keep your numbers up. Got to keep your numbers up. That's what they would call it, marks, right? Old people, keep your marks up. How are your marks in school? How are your marks? You got good marks? How are your marks in school, son? I can't remember your name, but how are your marks? I guess my grandfather was English, but no. That's how they, that's what the defining factor is. Marks, numbers in school. When you're a kid, it's like, oh, God. Everyone, and that's what parents equate to if their kid is doing well in school. If their kid is doing well in life, if they're on a decent track, they want to know that they're doing well in school, that their kid is doing well, regurgitating the stupid nonsense that has been the same curriculum for a very long time. Is my child able to retain the boring, anemic curriculum that is being presented to him day in and day out? Is he able to be woken up early in the morning, sent to a place that he really doesn't want to be, doesn't really have any interest in any of the stuff that is being taught, and kind of has an idea outside of that realm, wants to do something else? How well is he doing? How well is he doing in that environment? I would say probably not that well. Probably not that well. And now they're, the parents are worried and the whole thing. What direction is my kid going to be in because of these numbers? And then you ask the parents, how were your numbers in school? Oh, God, I was a terrible student. You should have seen me. I was chasing girls. I was in the back of the class chasing girls. I wasn't studying. I wasn't doing none of that shit. I was smoking cigarettes in the back talking about Mrs. Johnson's fat, juicy ass. That's what I was doing in school. You ask the parents, and their grades were fucking non-existent, right? They didn't give a fuck about school, some of these parents that really, really, and they're like, that's where I went wrong. That's where I went wrong in life. That's why I'm doing fine now. That's why I'm doing okay in life now. That's where I went wrong in school was my grades. And now I'm an insurance broker, and I make plenty of money. I make 6 figures a year, but that's where I went wrong. So now my kid, I don't want him to make the mistakes I did and have to get in a racket like this. And and that's a lot of what it is. It's a lot of parents who are nervous that when they were in school, they're like, I struggled, I sucked, or and they're like, well, maybe if I did better in school, I would be somewhere else. Maybe, probably not. Okay, let's be honest. A lot of those counselors are not spot on, but they got the right idea. A lot of them got the right idea. They get a bad rap. I've talked shit about counselors in this episode. I've already done it. But a lot of the times, if you take some of these people walking around as parents and sat them down as kids, and they said, "Hey, you're not going to do anything with your life," and then fast forward to now, a lot of them would probably be right. A lot of them would be in the right in doing that. But not all of them. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is that the ones that allow those numbers to define them are the ones that don't end up doing anything. You know, that's what can happen. They can, because they can get wrapped up in the fact that they didn't do good in school. And obviously with my prior example, I was talking about a successful parent who went sideways and did something else and whatever else. But really the joke is how there's a lot of parents out there who they sucked in school, so they're hoping by some stroke of luck that their kid is going to be good in school because genes mean nothing to these people, right? They just don't exist. Genetics are nothing, right? If you did bad in school, your kid will just magically be a fucking genius. Good luck, sweetheart. Good luck with that notion. But grades are scary, right? And then just the idea of having someone to critique you gets you prepared for the world outside of school. But numbers, there's more numbers, right? Numbers that control us. I mean, money. Sorry, everybody, I got a notification that probably means nothing. And I want to smash my phone against the wall. Does anybody ever want to do that? All right. Well, before I actually do it, let me put it down. Money, right? You don't need me to talk about money. Money is another thing that is, it's just numbers hitting at you. So arguably the biggest controller. Now that one is definitely, these are just human-made things, right? All three of these are human-made things. The three things I've said so far. Money and then the numbers surrounding them. Now, when I talk about money, I don't mean just the cost of things. I mean like insurance rates and fucking inflation rates and these made-up numbers that have so much have so much pressure attached to them in our lives, right? Anytime you hear about like recently, the Fed just increased or is supposed to increase rates to almost 3.25%, which is high, right? To combat inflation, another made-up fucking thing. Like it's all just these made-up systems. Credit score. How about a credit score? A credit score is like an adult report card. You're so scared of credit scores. Everyone is so scared of a credit score when you're an adult. Make sure you keep up on your credit. Don't fuck around with your credit. You can't fuck around with your credit. Oh no, the credit. Watch out for the credit. And they're right. Do not fuck up your credit. Because if you don't fuck up your credit, then you'll never be able to get a good rate on a loan. Look at that. There's 3 numbers involved there. 3 big-time numbers. Your credit score, you don't want to fuck up your credit. You want to get a loan, right? That's a big number. And then there needs to be a good rate. And you won't get a good rate unless you have a good credit rating. So money, I mean, there's an infinite tax numbers, tax percentages. How about that? When the tax man comes a-knocking, you know what I'm saying? You better be there with your money. So it's weird how numbers, we've just given this immense power to these things, and those are like the top 3 ways. I mean, there's other ways, right? Weight, you could say that. People who are fat, people who are big fat fatties. They're like, oh my goodness, I'm such a big fatso. I'm so fat. Oh my God, look at this. Look at this scale. I stand on it and the number's big. I'm fat. Look at me. I'm a big fatty fatso. Look how fat I am. Hey everyone, I'm fat. Do you see me? I'm fat. I can be fat now. Now it's not that bad, right? The scale used to be a lot worse. People were a lot more afraid of the scale. We're a lot more lenient with the scale these days. Yeah, we're a lot more lenient with the scale these days. But that's my rant on numbers. I don't know if you guys saw this. I've always championed the FDA. The FDA is one of the most important government agencies that are around because without them, we wouldn't be able to legally purchase drugs that can kill us. Food and drugs that can kill us. Like without the FDA's approval, we wouldn't know which drugs to ingest over a long period of time breaking our bodies down, ruining our organs, maybe brittling our bones a little bit, right? Fucking our minds up. We wouldn't know to ingest cancer-causing pieces of chicken. We wouldn't know that our products are safe to consume one day, and then maybe they're not anymore. And we need them to come in and say, hey, you guys shouldn't have this, but you can have this. This thing will kill you right now, we're finding out. This right here should be good. We'll see. You know how these things go, right? I mean, it is really just a big experiment, right? Just the FDA. Because if there was no big, like, market for things and people just, either bartered or people would know what was good for them, right? People would know. They wouldn't have anybody in the middle saying, hey, this is good, this is bad, this should be sold, this shouldn't be sold. Because there are things, obviously, being sold that kill people all the time, right? They do. How come some of them are okay and some of them aren't? Why? Because a study comes out blackmailing or giving whatever the fuck it is a bad name, so now we can't have those on the thing. Right? Can't have menthol cigarettes, but we can have Oreos. I've already gone on about this before, and it's one of my bits, so I don't want to give a ton away about it. But the FDA is recently stepping in. Again, a very valiant company telling us, not company, agency, because I don't want to conflate the two. I don't want people to think that they're a company or a corporation of any kind. They're coming in again to tell us what is bad and why we shouldn't ingest it. There's a TikTok trend. Maybe some of you have seen it. I've seen it on other than TikTok. I've seen it in other places, maybe Twitter as well. Cooking chicken in NyQuil. Cooking chicken in NyQuil. Now, first of all, as a person who really enjoys food, I like trying different foods. I like different ethnic stuff, and I'm intrigued when I hear about a delicious, culinary invention, if you will, a gastronomy. I love gastronomy. I love learning about where the regions are that certain types of food come from, and I love to find the sophistication behind these things, as well as I can appreciate the side of food that is very sophisticated and gourmet and well put together and very particular, because it takes a very artistic and special person to be able to find flavors that match well with what they're cooking, and they have an idea of what it is that they want to give you, and they find a way to do that with the ingredients they have. But I can also find an appreciation for that down home, just no measuring cups, know exactly what it's going to be, how it's going to taste. It's going to be delicious. It's going to be tons of leftovers. It's going to be so good. Stick to your ribs. You know what I'm saying? Hometown, homemade, just real good stuff. And this sounds like something that is right up my alley. I mean, this is a real feat when it comes to cuisine. This sounds like something that you could bring to a Master Chef type show and win the show with. I mean, NyQuil chicken, that's got to be. But here's the thing, guys. Now, I'm obviously fucking around, but here's the thing. The FDA felt the need to tell people to not do this. Isn't that interesting? Isn't it interesting that the FDA just drives home the fact whenever they can? They just drive home the fact that they're just a useless, stupid agency. I mean, I know people are stupid. It's all right. I get it. People are stupid. And there's a such thing as what's that Darwin shit? Survival of the fittest. Sorry, couldn't get it out there. There's a such thing as survival of the fittest. Let those people eat the chicken, eat the NyQuil chicken. They'll be fine. And if they're not, then they're not. It's fine. You don't need to come in and tell people that, because you should know that that's not necessarily the best thing. You see, because when you cook with the NyQuil, you gotta add a little lemon butter. It counteracts the medicine grapey taste. If you just add a little lemon butter, maybe a little breading on the chicken, right, so we can get it like a nice golden brown. You don't want to do just chicken breast in a pan and kind of boil it in NyQuil, which is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people cook their chicken in a pan, and it's very... It's novice. It's very novice. They're cooking it in a pan, and they're putting too much of the NyQuil. The NyQuil's not burning off. See, what you got to sear the chicken. If you're gonna do the chicken without breadcrumbs, you want to get a good color on it. So you got to sear it first. A little oil, a little something. Put a heavy season, right? So we can get a nice crust on it. Then you pull it out. Then you get your NyQuil going. You get your NyQuil cooking, you get it bubbling, and then you put the chicken in. So then it kind of envelops that delicious NyQuil flavor. You want to get the grape in there. But again, you got to add the thyme, and you got to add the garlic. It's got to be a thing. It's got to be good. There's a bunch of ways that you can do it. And these people are just novices. I think that's what it is. I think the FDA is just upset that people are using this ingredient incorrectly, because you can make anything taste good if you know what you're doing, right? If you know, you ever see, some of you guys have grandmothers, right? I know those are still around. Some people have grandmothers. I know I still do. They are able to just take whatever the fuck is in their refrigerator, in their freezer, whatever, and they're able to just whip it right up, right? They're able to just bang it right out. Some of y'all have mothers that can do that, not me personally, but that's neither here nor there. They're able to just kind of make anything good, right? They're able to make anything good, and they're able to kind of just whip it. Like, think about a delicious... You could probably make a good dessert with some NyQuil. Make a nice, like a mousse, like a grape mousse, like a nice grape mousse, that you can top off a chocolate cake, like a cherry chocolate cake. It'll be like a berry type... and that medicine and that. I don't know. I'm just thinking you could do like a NyQuil infused whipped cream, something light. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking something light and something, or you could you could reduce it and make a syrup. It's already a syrup, but you can make it a little thicker, add a little molasses to it, do it on like a pancake. I think that's what it is. I think the FDA is just worried that people aren't gonna use NyQuil the way that they should be, the way that it was intended to. Of course, yes, it's also to help you when you're sick and you want to see the Andy Griffith Show in color, right? Because that shit helps you hallucinate. That's the part of NyQuil. And if you're gonna cook with it, you might as well use it the right way. Use it the right way. But part of what the FDA is saying is that it's the fumes, you're cooking it off, and the fumes are hitting you in the face, and you're getting high. You're smoking NyQuil. Again, it's just the novice style. I think the FDA is doing the right thing here. And again, I'm not a fan of them. I don't like them. But I think here they are exposing everybody to the incorrect way of using this, using their product. That's what it is. If you had a real chef in there cooking it up, doing it the right way, tasting it, you got a garden, you might have some herbs that you can, you make a nice emulsion. There's a ton of things you could do with it, and it just, it doesn't look great. Now, I think that going forward, I hope that what I'm saying resonates with you guys, and I hope that what the FDA is doing resonates with you guys, and you can really take it up to the next level. But there is actually some of you may have heard of a Mario Batali, right? This is one of his recipes. I don't know if you've heard, but it turns out that Mario Batali is a dirty, filthy rapist. Yes. Who would have thought? What a fall from grace. But I remember being a child, and Mario Batali would be on Food Network. And my mom would just have Food Network on just in the background. And, sometimes I would sit around and watch shows with her. And this guy would come on. He was Italian. He was supposed to be like the next big thing. Everyone knew Mario Batali. I have friends who know about Mario Batali. Okay? Friends, people that are like, people who aren't interested in cooking at all. They know who the fucking guy is. He was on shows. He was all over the place. He was the poster boy for Food Network. He had restaurants, New York City, all over the place, Boston, and he has a documentary out. I think it's on Discovery Plus, which makes sense, right? I mean, why would you have the documentary is about how awful his life is, like how downward spiraling everything is. What is it? The Fall of a Superstar Chef. Okay, and. Just by the way, I mean, I've talked about this before on here, but it is rampant how anybody can get a documentary. Anybody can get a documentary, especially the worst thing that you've done, the more bad that you've done, the higher chances you'll get a documentary made. It'll be on something stupid like Discovery Plus or whatever, but like when Bill Cosby dies, there's going to be a ton of documentaries about it. They're all going to be terrible, right? They're all going to be bad things, of course. And rightfully so, right? Rightfully so. But there's an example. Here's an example of just a fat, overworked rapist, once famous chef, a guy that couldn't keep it together and just turned into a disgusting, sick motherfucker who rapes people. Like actually rapes people, and fuck this guy, realistically, fuck this guy. But he would probably have a great recipe for NyQuil chicken. I mean, if you said to me, Antonio, which chef do you see being the guy to usher in this new ingredient of NyQuil into a cuisine? Could he have it as a menu item? Who do you think it would be? I mean, it would probably be Mario Batali. It would probably be. Now that may have changed before hearing this news, right? I don't know that there are any more famous, once famous chefs who are now being exposed as dirty, filthy rapists. I don't know, but I do know that it would it would sway my prognosis here. It would sway my decision or my choice. How about that? Same word, kind of. It would sway my choice on who would be the pioneer of NyQuil chicken, of who could really make it something good. If I found out that, Bobby Flay was squeezing his waitress's asses behind the thing, then maybe it was him. But it depends on the severity, because this guy actually, and I haven't watched it. I read this in a New York Post article, and I was like, wow, I was actually appalled, because it was a woman detailing how she literally was drugged. She worked for him. She was drugged, and she was brought to his house. And after a night of, probably excessive drinking and obviously drugging, and she didn't remember anything. She woke up with bruises on her ribs and semen on her, and just terrible, 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 awful fucking things. But it begs the question: did he serve her his newest edition of NyQuil chicken that night? Did he do that? Did he make a delicious balsamic NyQuil reduction that he finished almond crusted tilapia. Did he do that? Did he do that? I mean, like I said, if anyone would, it would be this guy. Do you think he started the trend to get people going? No, probably not, because again, it is amateurish. The videos are very amateurish, guys. It's very poor cooking skills. It's poor. It's poor. I've seen better behind a Domino's. I've seen better at a Denny's than some of the scum that try to cook on TikTok, especially using such an illustrious ingredient like NyQuil. But what a filthy bastard. What a filthy bastard, Mario Batali. I hope he fucking rots. But just, and this isn't justifying anything. I'm letting you know right now that this isn't justifying anything. He's a filthy bastard. But just so you know, people who have never worked in the restaurant industry, it is a place of sexual abuse. Now, it is not a place or it should not be a place of blatant drugging and rape and violent sex crimes. No, that is not what it should be, and it should not be, anything even remotely related to that. But it is a very unprofessional environment, and if you're not used to working in a place like that, you would definitely be like, well, this is like kind of sexual harassment. Like people, sliding by you and touching you and saying you look good like this and saying inappropriate shit. I mean, chefs are some of the nastiest motherfuckers. God forbid you're a beautiful waitress and you got no boyfriend. These chefs are saying some fucked up shit just in general. They're gonna try and schmooze you. It's a very sexually tense and charged up environment. A restaurant is. It can be. Now, does that qualify? Mario Batali. Does that justify what he did? Of course not. It's filthy. It's filthy. It is. It's a disgrace, and it's gross. But you would expect the owner of a restaurant over, say, the owner of a knick-knack store to do some fucked up shit like that. I'm just saying because of the environment. I'm saying the environment, guys. It's the environment. It's the whole thing. Like, if you told me that this woman got sexually assaulted and there was a line of guys and there was, in that line, there was a restaurant owner, there was a curtain store salesman, there was a bagger in a grocery store, and there was a dentist, okay? And this woman was sexually assaulted at work, I would probably pick the restaurant owner just knowing that he was, even if it wasn't him, I would be wrong. I would still, by default, go for that person because that's what it is. That's what the environment is. But fuck that guy, and don't watch his documentary. I mean, come on. I get it. You want to raise awareness. I understand. You want to make a better case against him. I understand. I get it. But, I mean, first of all, what a specific demographic they're going for here. People who remember who Mario Batali is. They remember who he was. They would remember him enough for them to know that he had a major fall from grace as of recently, right? Or they'd be like, I wonder where Mario Batali is. Look at this. Wow, fall from superstardom or whatever the fuck. The fall of a superstar chef. He must be eating shit. And then you find out he's a rapist. But if you're hearing it from me now, fuck that guy. I'm sure he doesn't get any money, but he doesn't need any fucking publicity. Give him free hate. Okay? That's just that. I watched the Elvis movie recently. Brilliant. So fucking good. Oh, my God. What a good movie. The kid does such a good job of playing, what's his name, Adam Driver. He does such a good fucking job of playing Elvis. I mean, it's insane. And obviously Tom Hanks is great. And it gave me a new appreciation for Elvis. I used to kind of clown Elvis. I never really listened to him much. I know, obviously, everyone knows he's one of the biggest icons that ever lived, maybe the biggest icon that ever lived. He's the guy. He's the guy, and there's no, And I just wasn't educated. I knew the songs, I knew the whole thing, but I didn't know his whole life and whatever. And what a tragic fucking case he was. What a sad fucking case. And fuck his manager, right? Fuck that guy. But he was very smart in making those I hate Elvis pins, because why have free hate, right? Why have people already going to hate you? Why have free hate? Let them spend money on it. Let them buy it, right? Merchandise it. That's what happens when we have these documentaries about fucking murderous, terrible people. You can say, I hate what a motherfucking piece of shit that guy is. But you're paying for it. You're paying to hate. You can hate for free, guys. You're also paying for entertainment, and maybe you're entertained as well. But, how entertained could you be on a thing like this? Such a low-level, weird B-list celebrity to kind of talk about. But again, nowadays, there's so many streaming services. There's so many ways to get whatever the fuck you want. You can get a documentary. New York town representative defends racist Harambe memes. Okay, that's a sentence I didn't know that I would ever have to say, but this is an interesting... so this is upstate New York. Town supervisor defends allegedly racist Harambe memes. The supervisor of a small town in upstate Dutchess County said this week that he's absolutely not racist for posting memes involving Harambe, the Cincinnati Zoo gorilla shot after a child fell into his enclosure, on his Facebook page before he was elected. James Schmidt, so this was before he was elected. The Pauling town supervisor posted the images on his social media account on May 31st and June 1st, 2016, a year before he was elected on the Republican, Conservative, and Independents ballots, the Albany Times-Union reported on Tuesday. The memes remained on his Facebook page until this summer, when they disappeared, the newspaper reported. In an interview with TU, Schmidt insisted that he was absolutely not racist and expressed surprise that people could have perceived this in a negative light. How could you perceive something like this in a negative light? It's just a meme. It's just a meme. What did the meme say? One of the images Schmidt posted showed a smiling white gorilla, along with the words, "Pretty sure the white gorilla would just have been tranquilized. Too soon?" And then another one said, "If I throw my baby on stage at a concert, will they shoot Kanye?" And this one had a black gorilla with an infant gorilla on its back. Interesting. And then the next one had a big line of gorillas in a field wearing hats, all chained up. Well, I don't think he's racist in the slightest. I don't know that he had any. The next meme was a picture of a white gorilla stomping on a black gorilla because he went into the whites only gorilla bathroom, and now they And then another picture he had was a bunch of gorillas in white pointy hats burning a big banana on the lawn of a black gorilla. Interesting. I don't know that this man is, now it's like they can blatantly show how they feel about anything publicly. It's so much easier to publicly do that. And that this person probably knows who he's appealing to. He probably knows who the fuck he's appealing to. You can just easily go on Facebook and just say, "Hey, here's a racist meme or a racy meme." Like, I get it. I can see why he would, think that there would be no problem with something like that because of the people that he's kind of catering to, right? And they have that sense of humor, that kind of group, and I, you get it. It's a meme. right? It's a meme. There's horrible fucking memes. There's terrible things. I'm not saying that this guy should get a pass. I'm sure, I mean, anybody that is in the public eye, anybody that's in some sort of position where people can critique what you're doing, you put something out there, that's exactly what people are gonna do. They're gonna question it. They're gonna say, well, this guy, I mean, that's a little weird, It's a little different. I mean, what if he put a meme up of a gorilla in a dress looking at bathrooms and wondering which one to go in? Like wondering where that gorilla fits in, right? It's a gorilla in a dress, but nobody knows what, I mean, I guess in the gorilla world they'd be able to tell, right? If this theoretical transgender gorilla, because you don't want to offend people, this theoretical transgender gorilla, everyone would know what its born gender was, right? Everyone would know in the gorilla land. I don't know, but people would know. Hey, that was Sherry, and now it's Sean, the gorilla, but it's different, right? There would be a whole new class of people getting angry at this guy. I don't know. It's funny how people can just kind of equate one thing that was posted at one point or one. It's like judging somebody on one thing that they did their entire life. Now again, I am not trying to come off as somebody who wants to give slightly racist people a pass, right? Because that's, if you tolerate a slight amount of it, then you're not that far off from tolerating any amount of it. So I get it. Question this fucking guy. Go ahead. But the people in the town, they're probably like, it's kind of funny. I mean, it's kind of, he knows who he's playing to. That's what it is. That's what it is, guys. You got to treat them how they come. You really do. Guys, I got to tell you something about this episode. This was it was a little bit of a tough one to put together. I'm not going to lie to you. It was, for me, it is a Wednesday as I sit here and record this to you. It was, I had a weird beginning to my week. And I have this problem where at the beginning of, if something happens in the middle of my day and it fucks everything up, or it fucks up the flow of things, if I had a plan and one thing ruins it, then I almost write the day off, which is something that I've been getting better at and working on or whatever. Not to bore you guys with what the fuck is happening, but, it's just when you're doing some shit that becomes so, when you become so engulfed in something that it's the only thing that you do, which is between this and comedy, that's where I'm at, right? That's where I'm at in life. The only things I do are those things. I don't really have money to do anything else. I've been fucking around with my guitar again, though. I really have. I've been twanging away just to have something else to work on. Because I don't look at work as something to work on. I don't look at my job as something to go to, and it takes up a part of my day that I feel that it belongs there. I make money, and that's it. That's its sole function. That's its sole function. That's what I look at it as. This stuff is my actual work. This is my work. This is my job. This is what I tell people I do, and sometimes it gets tough. Sometimes it's tough to be ready to do this shit, And like I said, if something fucks up in the day, then it fucks, a whole bunch. It's like a domino effect for me. It's something I try to work on, but I'm sitting here. It's late on a Wednesday, and just as a reminder at the end of this shit, some of your best work comes from sitting in the shit. Right? When you're sitting there, take yourself back to when you were in school and you're sitting there and you're trying to write this paper and you don't even know where to start. You don't know where to start, but you're late. The paper is coming, or maybe you're not late. Maybe you're trying to get a jump on it. You don't really know where to start or how to start. I'm finding that you have to sit in the shit. You have to sit there. You have to keep trying. Type, delete, stare at a blank screen, fucking whatever. And that's kind of what you have to do. That's what you have to do when you're being creative. That's what you do when you hit a wall. That's what you have to do in fucking, in any endeavor that you're trying to get through. And with this show taking on the identity that it has as of recent, one that I enjoy very much so, and I think it works well with the show being just me. There's a sort of pressure to make every episode funny and be as funny as I can in these things. That's what I try to do, and I think it's resonating because I'm seeing some newfound progress with the show, and it's taken time, and it's good, and it's motivating, and it's helping. But my point being is that when you got that writer's block, when you got that shit, you got to or that creation block. How about that? That creativity, there's a wall that's stopping whatever the fuck it is that you normally have that makes you do your thing, makes you do whatever it is. Look at it as like a puzzle. There's a puzzle to be fucking solved, But where was my point going? Oh, with making this show as funny, trying to make it as funny as I can, sometimes it's tough for me to come on here and do things that aren't that. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. Like right now, I'm just kind of talking to you guys about how I'm feeling and how it was to put this episode together today. But there is some valuable nature to that as well, because something I've gotten away from is understanding that you guys understand where I come from, because I understand where you come from, because we all understand where we come from, because we come from the same motherfucking place. We're all humans. We feel the same things, just in different ways, in different wavelengths, in different capacities, right? Some people feel things really hard, some people don't, and it's different for everybody else. But we all have very, very similar feelings, right? Some people, they get cut off on the highway and they want to kill somebody. Some people, they get cut off on the highway and they go kill somebody, okay? That's all it is. That's all it is, right? Murderers are not that far off from your average Joe. They aren't. They were born a certain way, wired a certain way, or something happened to them. Same thing with drug addicts. Same thing with executives. Same things with comedians. Same thing with fucking anybody on any fucking spectrum, okay? It's everybody feels certain things certain ways, and I guess sometimes it's not a terrible thing for me to go ahead and do some of this at some point in the show and kind of talk about what the fuck is happening here. But all that being said, guys, we're going to cut it out a little early today. Not too early. I know we're almost at an hour. But we're going to cut it out just a hair early. We have... I wanted to keep you guys posted on the videos that are coming out for the Portland, Maine Comedy Fest, because there will be a bunch of that. I promise you guys there will be a bunch of that coming very soon. We're looking at sometime in October now, because my guy Rafael Adames is stuck in the DR because there's a hurricane coming through Puerto Rico, fucking people up. So I told him, don't worry about it, unforeseen circumstance. We're going to get this stuff out. All it's going to take is a few days of hard, dedicated work, and we'll get it the fuck out to people. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be all over my social media. And then dates, we got 2 dates in October. October 14th, Stand Up New York, and October 23rd at the Comedy Connection in Providence. I'm hosting an open mic somewhere in the middle there. I don't know what my calendar. It's over there, but who gives a fuck? It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's it, motherfuckers. Thank you all for listening. I'm going to talk to you all on Monday. Peace. Me again. Follow the show. Subscribe on the YouTube. Buy me a coffee. Use the links. Bye-bye.